and you're still taking all your own sales calls, I get it. You obviously care about your product and you think that no one can sell it like you. But the hard truth is the more you know about your product, typically the worse you actually are at selling it. Because the more you talk about the product, the less you listen. And the biggest thing with B2B sales is, in any type of sales, is discovery beats knowledge every single time. And founders who stay in the sales seats aren't scaling, they're self sabotaging. So, the founder trap is that every single founder, they fall into this trap at some point. You're handling demos, explaining every feature, and trying to convince people that what you built is amazing. But the buyer doesn't care about features, they care about their problems and how they're going to get solved. Founders typically overtalk because they're emotionally attached to the product. And real salespeople know that the less you say, the more power that you have. Founders typically get stuck explaining the product, while closers get paid by uncovering solutions. As a founder, you typically think that your deep product knowledge is helping you, but it's actually killing your close rate. Because when you know every single feature, a lot of times you feel the need to explain every single detail. But, prospects don't buy logic, they buy clarity. The more you explain, the more confusion that you create. And sales isn't about proving that you know everything, it's about proving you understand them. And that's why your best sales reps who actually know less about the product than you are often the ones closing more deals. Sales is a mental game, not a technical one. Sales is one of the toughest mental games in business. Every day you'll deal with rejection, objections, and uncertainty. And unfortunately, the reality is most founders are not mentally fresh enough for it. You're juggling team management, operations, payroll, product updates, and now you're supposed to hop on a call and be calm, curious, and strategic. A lot of times that's just not realistic. Sales typically requires a clean mental state, focus, attachment, and emotional control. And if you're doing a dozen other things, you don't have the bandwidth to show up that way, which is why the founder should not be the salesperson. You should have a specific closer that is only doing closing and sales work. Sales reps are just built different. Good salespeople, they're actually wired for the game. They wake up ready for pressure, they're competitive, and they feed off the challenge. But, with founders, they're typically juggling too many battles. They can't be 100% in the pocket because they're emotionally attached to the outcomes. A great rep stays calm when a deal ghosts. A founder typically panics because payrolls due next week. So that's why founders should be building the sales teams and hiring out people to do so, not pretending to be one. And look, before I get people in the comments saying, well, I take all my sales calls, there is an exception. Obviously, if you're a sales first founder, meaning you've come up in sales and built the company around your closing ability, then obviously that's different. Then at that point you can probably sell better than most of the reps. But I do work with a lot of software companies, so where these owners are developers and things like that. They're not natural sales guys, and they haven't been sales guys in the past. These guys are technical nerds. So unless you have that background, there's someone out there who typically can do it better for you. More consistent, they're more neutral, and more focused. Because even the best offer in the world, it's not going to close itself. And emotion doesn't close efficiently, systems do. And when founders stay in sales too long, they typically lose perspective. They're too zoomed in on the next call to zoom out of the trajectory of the company. You're not improving operations, you're not optimizing delivery, you're not hiring leaders because you're stuck in the trenches. Every hour that you spend selling is an hour that you're not scaling. That's why, founders typically come to me if they're doing $50,000 to $100,000 a month and they're burning out. It's because they've built themselves a job and not a company. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm building out these sales teams so that the founder can focus on product delivery and the team can do what they do best. The power of letting go is when founders step out of sales. Number one, the business gets more predictable. Number two, Sales typically becomes consistent instead of emotional. Number 3, you as an owner finally have time to build, hire, and lead, and you stop being the bottleneck and start being the architect. Because the goal isn't to be the best closer, it's to build a machine that closes without you. So, if you're ready to get out of the sales seat, here's the exact 3-step transition plan to do so. Number 1 is you got to document everything. You got to record your calls, write down your questions, and systematize your entire discovery process from setting appointments to closing deals. Number 2, you got to hire and train closers. Focus on attitude and communication first, and skill can be taught. Number 3, you want to coach, not close. You want to review calls, set standards, and focus on improving the team instead of yourself. And then eventually, you obviously want to hire. Typically, best motive is to hire the best leader on the sales team and the best closer into being a sales manager. Or off the bat, you can hire, if you have an A-plus sales manager, that you hire them to lead the sales team so that you can focus more on either marketing or building out your actual product. So just some final thoughts. If you're still doing all your own sales calls, ask yourself this, are you actually the founder or the CEO, or are you just the head salesperson with extra steps? Because you didn't start a business to stay on Zoom all day convincing people to buy your product. A lot of times you started this business to build freedom. So you want to stop selling and actually start scaling. If you are a founder, business owner who sells a B2B service, B2B consulting, or a B2B SaaS, feel free to reach out to me. What my company does is we build out your entire sales teams from A to Z. We build out the infrastructure, we build out the CRMs, the operations, and we actually hire your team from setter, closer to sales manager. So if that's something that you want to do, you want to just become the guy that leads the ship instead of doing every single day and being in the trenches, feel free to reach out to me. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching.